Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, these Joy-Cons have been a pain in the butt since the beginning, haven't they? Yes, they have. And today I want to take you on a little journey, something that I do when I'm looking at the companies that I own. First of all, let me start off by saying that I am a Nintendo stockholder. I hold a financial interest in the company, so please do not make any investment or purchasing decisions based on anything that I say. This is strictly for your entertainment. With that said, guys, let me take you behind the curtain here at things that I look at some of the companies that I invest in, right? And what I try to look at is where the wind is blowing, basically. I'm trying to look to see what the company is going to do in 3 months. In the short term, what is it going to do in a year, 10 years, And based on that, I try to make decisions about how strongly I feel about purchasing a stock at a certain rate, at a certain price, right? A certain volume. Those are all things that I consider by the things that I read. And a lot of it is just publicly available information. All you have to do is read, which a lot of people don't like doing, and that's why people don't like investing. Now, with that said, let me show you some of the things that I read, and I found this really interesting because we've all experienced the Joy-Con drift, right? If you own a Switch, most likely you have. We've heard the stories, we've seen the drift, we felt the drift. And this has been an issue that consumers have been fixing themselves. Like, what I did is I upgraded my Joy-Cons. I just put the old ones on here just to put them on for the video. But this is what a lot of people did, right? And you see that phenomenon a lot in the in the video game industry. We buy things that we know they're not up to par, but we love the software, so we'll let them go and fix them ourselves or just live with it if we love the software enough, right? And Arcade One Up is a great example, right? People don't like the controls, they don't like the buttons, so they switch them all the time, and they live with the problem, and that's what we do. But sometimes the problem is so spread wide, so spread throughout the release of a product that sometimes independent groups get involved, right? Sometimes there's class action lawsuits for different products, and I'm not saying this is the case here, but if it's large enough and spread wide enough, and if it affects enough people, somebody would get involved. Now, the way they do this is first they try to get independent confirmation. So a lot of firms that specialize in this type of things, they will actually fund studies before filing a lawsuit because they want like a third party to confirm the issue, right? And I'm not saying this is what happened in this case, but we do have confirmation now by a third party. So let's take a look at this article here. Let me take you back, and this is UK watchdog calls on Nintendo to fix Joy-Con drift, compensate consumers. Yikes. All right. Organization urges Nintendo to offer no quibble controller replacement or repair services. As we know that can be a little expensive, right? And let me tell you what the lab found. The laboratory test found several manufacturing issues. Dust and other contaminants were found inside the controller despite dust-proofing cowls on the joystick. It also said that the drift issue was likely caused in part by a noticeable wear on the joystick slider contact points. Right? So they're pointing to design flaws, right? If they are to be believed, and they're saying that this is a study, right? But they only studied 5 sets. You have to look at the data of the study, but I mean, just by the numbers of complaints that people have had, we've known that this is a problem for a while, guys. Now, this is in the UK, and when things like this happen, usually governments, local governments take, they take action to try to protect consumers of something like this. And if it's faulty equipment, they will make companies repair it at no cost, right? Like a real quick repair. Here in the US, it tends to be more of a credit, right? Usually what happens here is they'll file in certain cases, they'll file a class action lawsuit, right? And then they'll settle and they'll send you an email or something if you are affected by this. And they'll say, hey, if you were affected by this, you might be eligible for compensation. Then you have to sign up via email or something like that, and then you have to put all your information. And then if you qualify, they'll send you a check, or a voucher or whatever. In the car industry, it happens, right? What are the ramifications for Nintendo here? I don't know yet, right? So I'm going to keep a close eye on this, because these are the type of things that can affect companies negatively, right? So I'm not only looking for positive news. Remember, stocks go up and down, right? And there's certain things that cause them to go down. And also, I want to see what the reaction of the company is. Why? Because if they just deny something that's so obvious, they're going to have a bad PR. If you have bad PR, that equals low sales in the future, right? So how they handle these events really matters a lot when you're thinking about investing in these companies long term. You also want to know what kind of things are happening, right? This is relatively minor and well known, and the public in general is not outraged, right? So Nintendo has a lot of playroom here, but when it's something different, like batteries, when you have batteries issues or screen issues, stuff like that, those things I'm always looking for. And these are the type of things that I look for when I'm looking at hardware companies and what kind of quality they have, right? How the customers feel about the product. Now, fortunately enough, I think the Nintendo brand is strong enough that it will withstand this. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be action taken, because there most certainly will. I mean, if this is out right now, if it's out in the public, I'm sure a couple of lawyers, a couple of people in government are looking at this, and they're going to try to get more data. This particular test says it was only in 5 controllers, and it's pointing to a design flaw, right? Basically saying that dirt gets in the controller because the cowl's not, working properly in order to keep the dirt out, and also that the contact points, they're not that strong, so they tend to wear out very quickly, and consumers end up paying for it, right? By replacing them, or mostly replacing them. All right, that's what we do. What kind of actions could they take? Could they make the company pay money? I mean, it really depends on the government, but I'm sure other places are looking at the same thing that I'm looking at, right? And Nintendo might be proactive in this and start just a campaign of returning Joy-Cons at a stronger pace before a government forces them to pay actual money. And let me tell you, in some cases, it's easier just to pay the money because you don't have to deal with labor or anything like that. Guys, the Joy-Con drift has been confirmed. What is Nintendo going to do? Well, I'll probably keep you posted. Guys, if you enjoy watching these kind of videos, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring that bell, because you never know. You never know when I put these out. I don't even know. Guys, thank you so much for watching me, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every week. Make sure you don't miss out and subscribe.